Hi everyone, it's Christian with SalonTees.com, back again with another quick, easy highlighting technique. First I wanted to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel as well as watching the video. If there's a question that you have, feel free to email me. I'll put the email up here so you can see that. And very soon we'll put together a video that will answer a lot of the questions, because I'm sure if you've asked the question that somebody else has the same question as well. But for right now, let's start off with our quick and easy highlighting technique. So starting in the top, I'm going to work down towards her eyebrow and create one side of the triangle. Kind of move that over across her face. Now the base of our triangle is going to be in the front. I'll work my other side of the triangle on her left side, and then just comb all this hair to make this somewhat tight with very clean lines and clean sectioning. The better your sectioning is, the better your haircuts, the better your foil patterns will be, because you're not gaining a bunch of hair into a foil, or your hair is just not flying all over the place. You just have better control over it. So that would be our triangle.
Here we flip the triangle so the point is actually towards the front and the base is at the back. By doing this, it creates more color in the back, less color in the front,
so that we kind of create an even playing field. Now you can do a section or a slice or a weave here. For this, I'll actually take a little bit of a heavy weave, placing foil right at the hairline. Bring in my product, and I won't start right at the hairline. I'm actually starting a little bit below that, so that the product kind of gives me some stickiness, or the product adheres to the hair and the foil, so I'm not having to drag that foil all around and create a lot of slippage there. Now I'm working my product back up to the hairline. Now that we've got our first foil in, come back to our next section, and remember, we don't want to pinch this so that we can use that with one foil. We're almost going to create a bricklayer type of effect. So we want to come off to the side, weave off the top of that, or slice, depending on the results that you want to see, and work our foil in to almost the middle section of the first foil. And now we've got our first couple of foils in. We'll keep working in a pattern like this because we basically created this straight line. I'll actually start off on the left side and work my foils towards the middle of this. I want to be careful not to bring that around. I want to stay on almost a diagonal plane. So I'll probably place in here about 2 to 3 foils to where the end of that foil is reaching just towards the middle of the opposite side of the foil. Make sense?
I'll continue working through our triangle, making sure that we're working to the middle of the foil on the opposite side. This generally will take about 2 to 3 foils in each section, moving from right to left. I'll be using a weave in some and a slice in the other. This will give us a good amount of color throughout the top of the foil. This technique only takes about 15 to 20 foils, depending on the size of the head, so make sure that we get a good amount of color coming through for great results.
As you can see, we're at the top of her head now, where the triangle that we were using as our pattern has come to the point. What I'll do here, because our last foil was in the middle of our previous section, I'll actually start on this side and work all the way across so that I get the entire triangle covered up in foil. I will leave hair out in between the foil, and this will probably take me about 2 to 3 foils to do. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of hair left. I could put that hair in a foil, but the way that hair will naturally fall once we're completed, I'll probably just go ahead and leave that out for right now. If you do find that you want to put that in there, you could if you wanted to. It might be a good idea to actually add that with a little bit of color, but since we're using a lightener, and on mannequin hair lightener shows up better, we'll just leave that out for right now. We'll let this process for about 35 minutes at room temperature, and then we'll begin to rinse her out and see the finished results. Okay, now that she's processed for 35 minutes and I've been able to rinse her out and blow her hair out, here's our finished amazing results. We've got a lot of color that comes across the top and comes down through the sides. The great thing about this technique is it doesn't necessarily have to be used for just this type of parting, where this parting is off to the side. This type of technique can actually be used for those clients that like to flip-flop their hair, meaning they don't necessarily wear it on one side. They might actually flip it back to the other side, and they still get a lot of color spilling out, coming from underneath, as well as spilling over the top. It's great because you don't know exactly where the foils were placed in the head, and you don't get that line that looks like it's just coming from the top, or maybe where they're coming up from the sides, which typically we do a lot of times in the salon. This way it just gives us a little bit more versatile color and versatility as far as the outcome goes. Remember, the stylist and the client sitting next to you are probably watching what you're doing. The world is watching, so be brave. I'm Christian for SalonTees.com, and we'll see you next time.